All right, episode 11, coming at you up 8th Avenue on a beautiful evening commute. This is September 9th. That's a cool bike. All right. Let's see what the day brings. Here we are down this parking lot. I just saw a guy biking, rigging his bell, screaming "eyes up," I guess, and to a young woman at the crosswalk who was maybe not paying attention, had her eyes on the phone. That's a pretty aggressive cycling there. I mean, he was just screaming at everybody and ringing his little bell. You know, he wasn't on a city bike, he had his own bell, but it was still a little bell, you know, ding 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 ding, ring ring ring. And as aggressive as a cyclist can be with a little bike bell, that was him. I feel like, easy there, buddy, why are you moving? That's called intersection bullying. There you go. Smile, say hello. Now that you see me, don't kill me, please. I like being sort of, you know, respectful to everybody as best as I can. Because ultimately, like, again, people who are sitting in the driver's seat of a car literally are people, I mean, they basically have their finger on the trigger of a weapon. It's not a machine that's designed for murder. I get that. It's not a machine designed for killing people. It's a transportation device. But ultimately they can do extraordinarily dangerous things, like just even basic things like passing you closely, and other kinds of maneuvers, even sort of nudging you or whatever, can have pretty devastating impact. So you don't want to piss people off who are, with a flick of their foot, can basically kill you or maim you, you know, or really just, you know, ultimately absolutely ruin your day. Drive over your foot or knock you down and break your wrist or something. It's a guy riding the wrong way on the path, but I do not mind. I just don't mind that kind of stuff. Again, it's kind of interesting. These bike lanes are really like, I'm gonna just ding to let them know I'm here. These bike lanes, again, are like, they're not bike paths, right? A bike path would be separated and two-way and not be nearly as impacted by vehicles. But really what this is, because it's one way, like, sorry, not because it's one way, because they're being built on the side of a road, they are then forced to be one way because the road is one way. And so, of course, the bike lane must be one way. But that doesn't make any sense because that's not how cyclists are. You don't build one-way walkways. Pedestrians don't walk one direction. But then you treat, oh my God, what the fuck is this? This is not appropriate. On the bike lane. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you design sidewalks. Well, why would you do that with bike lanes? And so when you see how this stuff is done in, again, the Netherlands, You see that literally there are no streets where there's one way. Nothing is a single way when you are on a bike. It's literally exactly the same as pedestrians. You would never be like, this is only a one direction pedestrian path. That makes no sense. So the same kind of argument applies to cycling. And so you really can go in any direction, even like explicit one-way streets that are they're pretty clearly one way, like for cars in, you know, in Amsterdam and the Netherlands. Sometimes we'll frequently have you know, line to the side that that guy's got a cool bike, like triangle bike. We'll have lines to the side of the road that are what's called contraflow lanes. I've seen these. I saw these in. Let's see if anybody's going on here. All right, I'm gonna go. It's illegal, but it's a heliport. I think the 1% can wait, or the 0.1% can deal with it, since, you know, they're getting into their helicopters. Yeah, so there are these contraflow lanes that are like explicit bike lanes on one-way streets that go the opposite direction. They exist in, I saw them in Paris, and it's kind of, you know, Paris is a little more like New York, in that they're sort of, I think they're getting their feet, they're you know, still developing their bike culture. They are more advanced than New York in many ways, but in other ways it feels like there's a major car culture there. A lot of street space is dedicated to cars. But even there you have these one-way streets that have, you know, like a little bike lane that goes in the opposite direction. And so anyway, the thing that I notice here is that every now and then you see people go in the wrong direction, quote unquote, the wrong direction on a bike lane. But our bike lanes are often so poorly marked, poorly designed. They're just paint. They're generally just lines on the side of the street. It's really unclear that if you came from one of these countries, or you're just like a tourist, it's not, it would be totally reasonable to believe that you can ride these lanes in the opposite direction than they are intended. So that would be, I've seen people like on Central Park West, there's a northbound painted bike lane, which is, you know, recently they passed the project, so they're turning it into a protected bike lane. That hasn't happened yet, but it's only a one-way protected bike lane. Still though, ooh, you all right? Okay. It's all right. I mean, I saw someone just yesterday riding the wrong way. You know, so it's the wrong way. So you are coming against traffic on a northbound lane, right? So she was riding her bike, riding city bike south. Now, here's the thing though, all the cues convey that, hey, Zach. Oh, let me go. Zach.
What's going on?
You're on my podcast. Say hi. You want to bike with me up? You want to come with me up a little bit? No, man. They can hear me. No, I may not be able to hear you that well.
I watched like
five minutes. Do you want to ride up with me for a little bit? You got nothing else going on? I don't want to be in the middle here. Oh, you got to pause your podcast, right?
Also, you got to be funnier.
I've been. Hey, man, I'm finding my voice here. Okay. Okay.
I'm only telling you because I know you can be.
I'm working on it. I have see, now I don't know what to do, because I'm like, do I interview you? Is somebody gonna be interested in watching any of this?
No.
No, probably not. But it's mainly for me, so it's okay.
I read that article about the hockey player who like yells at everybody.
Yeah, I spent all morning talking about that. And I said, Sean, if you're watching, let's do a ride together. I'd like to, we'll chat about it. He's all enforcement, but no policy. That's my complaint with him.
Policy? What policy?
He's not espousing any infrastructure improvements. He's just all enforcement, but none of the proactive, like, get more bike lanes, do more stuff. We'll get to that.
I think it's a culture thing, though. Like, if everybody was just like nicer on whatever vehicle they're using, it'd be fun.
That's true. But I'm saying it's just half of the argument. He's missing the other half. That's why, anyway, we can talk about that because I spent 40 minutes talking about that, Zach. Wait, so I'm not funny. That's true. I do try to be funny. I crack some jokes. I'm a situational humor kind of guy. So I do make jokes like once I get near actual, like I call out the, yeah, you're right, I'm not that funny. It's not funny.
You make fun of like whoever's there. Like if they're violating, you should make fun of them.
The drivers? Anyone?
Whoever.
I do a little bit. Like I was the count. I did the count. You may have missed that episode. You haven't been you're not a long time listener, Zach. Soon I'm gonna hit you up on my Patreon. And no, I made a joke and then I tweeted it because I thought it was actually pretty funny. I said, like the count from Sesame Street. And I was like, one car blocking the bike lane. 2, and I made a whole thing, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
How many people are going to get mad at me for riding next week? That's, by the way,
nobody.
New boosted scooter.
Oh, that's...
The boosted skateboards that made a gigantic, massive scooter.
Yeah.
There's one behind me.
Dude, you're fun. Oh, what's that? What's that one? I feel like you're an expert here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a GoTrax. GoTrax GXL.
Nice. Wait, are you recording this? No, you're not.
Show me. No, I'm not recording anything.
Oh, dude, you should be recording everything. All the time. Oh, sorry.
I have to like set up my camera, get rid of all the old footage on it.
You gotta format that SD card.
Not work.
This is what you call shitty infrastructure.
Yeah, this is way too much.
Because we want to have conversational biking. That would be ideal. And then no, it's not that hard when you have 12 lanes of a goddamn highway that's all this shit. And that's what I rant about. And that's my episode, Zach. How nerdy do I look in this? Because nobody can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It's not heavy on your...
I'm gonna be honest, it weighs me down a little bit.
Yeah.
It is not great on my neck and shoulders. You know what I mean? Like,
the new one. If you don't care about 360, get that little tiny
this one no, but this is such high quality. It's really, really good. If something happens, that shitty little 360 can't capture, hey, look at that. It can't capture license plates. Your little thing can barely like make anything out.
Yeah.
And when I get, you know, in a hit and run or some shit like that,
yeah, yours is not 360, so not just a rectangle, and you won't get it anyway.
What do you mean? I would get it. Here, you want to,
Champ.
great. See, this is what I capture on my what's September?
360, you could track it.
No, because that requires editing. You're missing a main component here, which is I don't want to spend more than like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So
who's gonna watch hours of this stuff?
who cares? It makes
What's
me
the
feel
point
good.
of it?
It's therapy.
Ah.
For me. I get to, did I not tell you this? You haven't read all of my stuff.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole description about it a little bit, but basically, yeah, I'll give you the origin story. Usually they do this on the, you know, on the 300th episode or something.
Are you the Joker?
I'm doing it 1 week in.
Are you gonna be a new Batman villain?
Wait, oh no. I mean like how this came to be. I am not going to become, yeah. I did think of two things. I thought of intersection protectors or defenders who go after intersection bulliers. So those are the people who drive their car through, like they inch through a red light when they clearly don't have the right of way, and that's intersection bullying, where they like.
You see all those Russian videos of people like beating the crap out of cars that are like going in pedestrian zones?
Stop!
Like...
Yeah, stop a douchebag. Yeah, I did. Yes, I love that. We need that. That's what Sean Avery will be one of the. Oh boy, will be one of like the 5 people. He'll be the muscle. You know, I'll bring a camera. There's a lot of other people who are more confrontational. I'm not a confrontational person, so that scares me a lot. But no, I wish that existed here. I would watch that all the time, obviously. I would be part of it, you know. I would support them on Patreon. So yeah, no, my kind of where this whole thing started was when I did Critical Mass, and I recorded a lot of it, and I was watching some of the footage, and I realized that when I talk, you can hear everything really clearly. You heard it. It's pretty good.
Not clearly, but yes.
It's good enough, you know? So I was like, I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, you know, when I bike, this is my ride. I ride for like 40 minutes. I think of a lot of shit. And I marinate, you know? And then when I get into work, I'm like, oh, I just want to write some blog posts, and I have all these ideas. Where I get home, and I'm like, I want to talk to my wife. She doesn't want to hear any of this crap. So I put it all together, and I'm like, how about I just talk the whole time and get it all out of my system? It's recorded. I'll throw it on YouTube. Nobody will watch it, but I don't care.
There's a lot of competition for, you know, people's attention, so you need high production value.
But that's not the goal. The goal is to save, you know, my marriage, right? Like the goal is like reduce time spent on this crap. And that's why I was like, I don't want to edit anything. I'm not going to deal with anything. I'm just going to talk, find my voice after 100 episodes. But then by the time I get home or at work, like I've spent an hour and a half ranting about bike lanes. And then it feels good. It's therapeutic.
I think it's in Norway or some other Scandinavian country where they put cameras on trains and they just, like on TV, they broadcast just hours and hours and hours of just like
like going straight
yeah and people like millions of people that watch this stuff.
I love it. That is what I'm talking about. So yeah, I like that you could easily mute my video and enjoy a relaxing ride up the Hudson. You know, and it's the same thing, right? Or you could listen and tune in for every little bit and be like, oh, Jeff's still ranting about.
I want to know, is there like an automated way to edit for like just where the dialogue is, the monologue?
I think you're stuck just listening at 2x speed. I think that's the best thing. I did look up. I actually did spend some time on this.
That might work because the pitch doesn't change and just the ride is faster, right? If you do 2x speed on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that might work.
So you can do that, because I'm not talking that fast to begin with. So you could probably go up to 3x and still get what you need out of my rides. I don't know. It's more like for me to get sort of comfortable. What I'd like are guests, you know, like this. This is gonna be great. You're gonna be my guest. Because this is like the best thing about biking, you know? See, and then I would talk about that guy and be like, why is he ringing his bell? I don't care that he's coming. We didn't move. He can just go around us. That's how he should ride, because I'm having a conversation right now and relaxing.
I've been pretty pissed off.
But of what?
If I were riding behind us.
But
because look, people have, you know, places to be.
Yeah, who cares? Like, it's fine. Oh, she lives in my neighborhood. I find that those people are like the more aggressive people. You want the people like the casual riders, the next 100,000 or 500,000 people who ride are going to be the ones who, you know.
No, the people that commute are actually in a hurry.
So this is I am going to do a test where I stop at every red light.
Like the hockey guy?
Yeah, so I talk about that. And I'm like, he brought up a really good point. I'm going to repeat that point because I said it on my earlier episode. But he brings up a good point. He said he loses credibility if he ever is caught going through red lights or doing anything illegal like that. Yeah, because he's sort of calling out.
It's so much harder to accelerate on a bike after you stop.
I get it.
Especially if there's no reason to stop. Like you look around, nobody there. There's no reason to stop.
That's a fair point. It's an important point that I
on a bike,
probably spent about 15 minutes talking
on a bike, you can actually see around the corner. In
I hear you.
You can't. In a car, you have the hood of your car. You're like, you know, you can't get out of somebody's way easily if you do block the crosswalk.
Yep.
In a bike, you're tiny. You can see if anybody's coming.
Yeah. I think the problem though is that what starts out as like probably what you would sneak in as like, oh, this is not really hurting anyone, nobody's around, whatever, quickly turns into, you know, speeding through a crowded intersection and making it through. Different. Well, there's a range, right? And people are comfortable doing different things and maneuvering in different ways.
But it's a cultural thing. That's what I mean. Like, if you're violating, you should always yield. It's okay to violate as long as you're yielding to everyone who's in the right. It's fine. As long as you're the last one to go, it's fine.
This is great. This is a good interview. Because you have a very strong point of view, and I'm not going to argue it.
Strong opinions,
I'm going to just...
Right?
I'm just going to reflect what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what about the role of just better infrastructure? Like the reason we have red lights in the first place are to control cars. But in places where you have very strong, you know, way more biking, way more protected paths, just total, like we don't have any red lights here. Did you notice we haven't hit any red lights? Why is that? Because you don't need them, because you're on an active mode of transportation and you can maneuver around stuff. We got to go this way, man. You haven't...
Why? What's going on over there?
Oh, you don't know this bypass?
No.
This is this awful, shitty bypass. Yeah, man. This is what the state does when they don't consult cyclists.
Wait, I go here on the right?
Nope. This is another episode. I talk about how terrible their design is because it's completely unclear. That's for the others. That's for people coming this way.
Why can't we just go by the waterfront?
Oh, you mean on there?
Yeah.
Because a bunch of those speeding trainer guys hit a kid got hurt, and then they said, fuck all you cyclists, now you're all going and getting bypassed past the boat basin. It's literally just like, oh, it's too busy, everybody has to go this way, right? And I'm like, this is pretty terrible. For many reasons, but mainly because, like, your point is, this is used by commuters. I want to get to where I'm going fast. I don't want to go through the woods and go up like a 20-degree, whatever grade incline. I've seen people walking their bikes up that crap because it's so heavy, it's so bad. You're like, I just want to stay on the water.
Use the exercise.
No, they're like old people. They're kids. You know what I mean? They're people who didn't anticipate.
Or they could use a pedal assist bike.
They could, but you know, then they're gonna ban that. Anyway, do you have to cut out or what are you doing?
Yeah,
You're just
gonna turn around
just gonna relax here. I mean, you could try to go this way, but this
sunset.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
I can't.
Over here, it definitely says don't go this way. Like cyclists must dismount. So I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go home.
My second guess.
I'm gonna go up that hill again now.
Yeah, now you gotta go through that crap. Right. Hey, you're gonna enjoy the sunset again.
Yeah, it is perfect.
It is pretty nice. This is a great day.
Yeah.
We're getting our bike on Saturday.
You should do the Escape New York ride.
If it involves any stairs, I can't.
No. It's in Rockland County.
How many miles is it?
We're doing 55.
Oof, that's gonna be rough with the kids. We'll see. I'll see. It's, I got it.
You can register day O. I think you just show up and register.
Okay. All right, we gotta get out of here before we get a collision over here and they block the whole thing off. All right, see you there. the benefits of biking is that you run into people. Oh shit. Uh-oh. And my shoelace just came untied. I really gotta deal with my shoelace a little bit better here. This is like amateur hour. I'm knocking down my shoelaces and they're getting stuck in the what's it called? The pedal. Do this. Jam it in there. Jam it in there. All right, I think we're good. We're good to go. Let's ride out. So yeah, it's my friend Zach. Zach is a old friend of mine growing up, and he has a couple of bikes, he's definitely into biking. Actually, literally just before I left for this ride, he sent me a Facebook link to I think the Jersey City mayor, who was talking about bike lanes and I think more like transportation options in Jersey City. I don't know, because I didn't listen to the whole thing because I jumped on a city bike. But I'm sure it's going to be really interesting and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah. So that's Zach. He rides these, he just rode the New York City, the Century Ride, which is not exactly a race, but a long, up to 100 miles bike ride with thousands of people that come out every year. This was the 30th one. It happened yesterday, and the 30th and final one. It was an event that was sponsored or run by Transportation Alternatives, and they decided that this was the last year that they were going to be the ones to run it. I think because it just takes a lot out of you. I think it probably took their team. They have a small team, small scrappy team that mostly spends their time focusing on policy, you know, campaigning for safer streets for all, and then they get kind of distracted by doing this event every year. So I had talked to a few people there about it, and they said it's just kind of a distraction, and it's very, very hard to put on a really good big biking event that pulls in thousands of people. I mean, there were 3,500 people, I think, this year. I mean, I think it peaked a few years ago, maybe 5,000–6,000 people. But you know, those are big events with tents, lots of sponsors, bibs, all that. Anyway, so Zach said I had to be more funny. That is a challenge, but challenge accepted, I guess. I am no Matt Fulcheron. I am no Dan Payetsky. I can't just whip up punchlines. I hope you brought I can't even, I just ruined the punchlines for everything. I hope this stage has insurance because I am ripping this shit up. That's a Matt Fulcheron joke that I just stole because I can't come up with my own jokes. As I told Zach, I'm a situational humor kind of guy. I have to sort of make comments and things about what I see. But those things can take a long time, and they are very unexpected or unplanned. And that's just kind of boring, I think, for most people to sit and watch a 40-minute ride that might have a chance of being entertaining, because maybe I'll hit something of interest one time along the route. Let's see. This is a hill. It's not a punchline. That's just a hill, but it's a heavy hill. That was really nice of Zach to ride up like 3 miles with me. He said I needed a microphone. I think it's probably true. When it's particularly windy, this thing probably can't hear very well, and it's probably super annoying, but I don't really know who's listening anyway, so it's fine. And he did have a good idea that maybe if this can be run through an automated editor that just automatically cuts out all the boring bits. It would be like, I would run it through the editor. I'd be like, here, editor, magical editor, here's a 40-minute video of me talking about bike lanes. Cut it so it's entertaining and interesting and maximizes likes and subscribes. And it will definitely spit out a 0-minute clip. That's like keep your day job. Wasn't there like I feel like that's from like Willy Wonka, where they had like the machine that they built to tell the future or tell where the Wonka bar was, and it was like, go screw yourselves, or something like that. They waited for it, they asked it a question, they punched it in, they televised it all, and then it gave them a funny answer they weren't expecting. That to me is like magical editing. I mean, like, you can cut out all the silent parts, but that assumes that I will be silent at some point. I think that's something I'm not that good at. I just like to talk a lot. Yeah, I guess it's not that funny. But the War on Cars is pretty funny. I mean, it is produced. They put together really great bits. And I'm gonna take this one up to route. I'm going up to Frederick Douglass Circle. There's no here, bags of trash. Bags of trash, New York City. How do we do our trash collection? We just throw it in bags and chuck it onto the sidewalk where people who walk can walk around trash. God help you if we put it in a parking spot, because then somebody might complain. Somebody who owns a car. Yeah, so Central Park West, or Frederick Douglass Circle is the northwest corner of Central Park. Oh, do you think I can make it? This is probably kind of dangerous, what I'm doing here. There's no cars, but, ooh, what are we doing here? 3, 2, can I get through? Yes, I can get through. Made it. Now that probably would not, I feel like Sean Avery would probably punch me in the face for a move like that. I probably should have slowed down and stopped. It's interesting. Here's a cab that did stop outside the bike lane, but like, kind of like, I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10 for that job. Like, he did it kinda, but it was like a half-ass move. It was like, I can argue that if it goes to a hearing, because I'm technically outside the bike lane, even though my passenger obviously had to like go right into the bike lane just to get through. Then we got this guy. What is this? PT146E4. I think that's Pennsylvania, I'm not sure. Sept Logistics in the bike lane. I got some guy behind me here. What's up? I like that Sean Avery calls everybody brother. Or I guess sister occasionally, but mostly it's brother. Yeah, I am not as entertaining as him, but I'm not trying to be. So I think, you know, we'll call it even. I know I've seen enough of his Instagram stories to know what he does not like. So in this situation here, the counting down, it's a yellow light, just turned red, but 3 cyclists all went through. Now I'm gonna go through a walk signal, because I legally can. That is legal. Even though I have a red light, which is confusing for police, because they don't know what is legal and what is not. Or at least sometimes. This garbage truck on the bike lane. Always fun to ride around. I think I'm gonna go up and through and then park right up 112. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna point my fingers like this, point that way. Be really clear, this guy, HVW 7109, in his Jaguar, taking this turn as a left turn, would have killed somebody. Definitely the kind of thing that should be outlawed. Should never be able to take left or right turns at speed like that. He must have been going 20, 25 miles an hour. This person is stuck between a red light. He's gonna go anyway. HEA. This guy, gal, this young woman, ERZ 5651, definitely went through a red light because she was on the other side and now she's on this side. And here's the thing, like, these drivers do these kinds of things so they make me have to go through these red lights. I don't wanna. But here's the thing, like, I'm next to a park. There's nothing going on here. If there was just a protected bike lane all the way down up here where none of these cars were blocking my view of pedestrians walking this way, that's kind of where you might hit somebody as a cyclist. I want to stay close to the side here. I want to go through these red lights. So this guy is speeding up to cut me off. Thank you. Thanks for protecting me. Oh, I'm in Sharrows. I'm in the warm. I'm in the comfortable warmth and the glow of the Sharrows that are going to protect me from, you know, all this crap. These drivers speeding through lights and whatever else. Oh man, I'm just going through this. I'm gonna ride on the sidewalk here, and here's why. I'm slow on down, slow to a crawl. And it's because the city bike dock is poorly positioned. It should be in the street, but instead it's all the way up here on the sidewalk, which is just terrible. But because Community Board 10 didn't want to give up any parking spaces, they left it over here, and instead they're like, oh, we can't put anything here because parking. All right, that does it for me. Over and out. Like and subscribe.